The Himalayas called to me, a persistent, gentle hum resonating deep within my soul. Ladakh. The name itself held a certain magic, a promise of vast, untouched landscapes and profound stillness. Anticipation had been my constant companion for weeks, a nervous excitement that fluttered in my chest like a trapped bird. Boarding the flight to Leh felt like crossing a significant threshold, leaving the familiar world behind. As the aircraft ascended, I watched the scenery below transform dramatically. Lush green plains gradually gave way to rugged, barren mountains, their peaks eventually crowned with pristine white snow. It truly felt as if I were flying to the very top of the world, embarking on a journey towards the sky itself, towards an unknown adventure. Landing in Leh was an experience unlike any other. The first thing that struck me was the air thin, crisp, and carrying a silence so profound it felt almost tangible. Stepping off the plane, I took a deep breath, feeling the coolness fill my lungs, a stark contrast to the heavy, humid air I had left behind. The landscape was breathtakingly stark, a panorama of barren mountains under an impossibly blue sky. There was a raw, untamed beauty to it all. The silence was not empty. It was full of whispers, of ancient stories carried by the gentle breeze. It was a silence that invited introspection, a quietude that began to seep into my very being from the moment I arrived in this remote Himalayan haven. Settling into Leh was a lesson in slowing down, a welcome respite from the relentless pace of modern life. The rhythm here was unhurried, dictated by the sun and the mountains, not by clocks or deadlines. People moved with a calm deliberation, their faces often etched with a serene wisdom. I found myself adapting to this gentler pace, shedding the layers of stress and urgency I hadn't even realized I was carrying. Each morning the sun would paint the mountains in hues of gold and orange, a silent spectacle that filled me with awe. This initial immersion into the Ladakhi way of life was the beginning of a subtle yet profound internal shift, a quiet recalibration of my inner world. My first true spiritual encounter in Ladakh was at the Shanti Stupa, perched gracefully on a hilltop overlooking Leh. The walk up was a gentle acclimatization, each step bringing me closer to a palpable sense of peace. The stupa itself, gleaming white against the azure sky, radiated tranquility. As I circumambulated the structure, spinning the prayer wheels, I felt a deep sense of calm wash over me. The panoramic views of Leh Valley, surrounded by a fortress of mountains, were simply spellbinding. It was here, amidst the fluttering prayer flags and the silent grandeur, that I first felt the profound spiritual heartbeat of Ladakh, a gentle invitation to connect with something larger than myself. The journey to Tso Monastery was an adventure in itself, winding through starkly beautiful landscapes. The monastery appeared suddenly, a magnificent structure clinging to a hillside, resembling a miniature Patala palace. Its ancient walls seemed to hum with centuries of prayer and devotion. I arrived early one morning, hoping to witness the monks' daily rituals. The air was cold, carrying the faint scent of incense and butter lamps. The sound of distant horns echoed through the valley, a mystical call to prayer that resonated deep within my chest. It felt like stepping back in time, entering a sanctuary where the spiritual world was an intrinsic part of daily existence, a place of profound reverence and peace. Inside Tso, the atmosphere was thick with spirituality. Young monks, their saffron robes a vibrant splash of color against the ancient murals, chanted their morning prayers. Their voices, a low, rhythmic drone, filled the prayer hall, creating a meditative soundscape that was both hypnotic and deeply calming. I sat quietly in a corner, observing the rituals, feeling the vibrations of the chanting resonate through me. The flickering butter lamps cast a warm, ethereal glow on the faces of the monks and the intricate thankas adorning the walls. There was a profound sense of timelessness here, a feeling that these sacred practices had continued uninterrupted for centuries, connecting the present moment to a long lineage of spiritual seekers. Another unforgettable visit was to Hemis Monastery, one of Ladakh's largest and wealthiest monastic institutions, tucked away in a secluded valley. The journey to Hemis was beautiful, revealing hidden corners of Ladakh's rugged terrain. Unlike the prominent Tso, Hemis felt more hidden, more secretive, adding to its mystique. The monastery complex was sprawling, with courtyards and temples filled with ancient artifacts and sacred texts. I wandered through its quiet corridors, feeling the weight of history and the deep sense of tranquility that permeated the air. The silence here was different, more introspective, allowing for quiet contemplation and a deeper connection with the spiritual essence of the place, a true sanctuary from the outside world. These visits to the monasteries were more than just sightseeing. They were experiences that touched my soul. The rhythmic chanting, the scent of incense, the sight of prayer flags fluttering in the wind, all these elements combined to create an atmosphere of profound peace and spiritual awakening. I found myself reflecting on the simplicity and devotion of the monastic life, a stark contrast to the complexities of my own world. The calmness I experienced in these sacred spaces began to anoint my spirit, a gentle balm that soothed and uplifted. It was in these ancient sanctuaries that I began to understand the true meaning of stillness, the quiet power found in moments of deep, mindful presence. The thought of crossing Khardung La Pass filled me with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Known as one of the highest motorable passes in the world, it was a challenge I was eager to embrace. The journey upwards was a slow, winding ascent, each turn revealing even more spectacular and daunting vistas. The air grew thinner with every 1,000 feet gained, and the temperature dropped noticeably. Our driver navigated the treacherous roads with skill and calm, a testament to the resilience of the Ladakhi people. Prayer flags fluttered wildly at various points, colorful blessings against the stark brown and white canvas of the high-altitude desert, marking the path for hardy travelers. Reaching the summit of Khardung La was a moment of pure exhilaration. At over 18,000 feet, the world seemed to stretch out beneath me in a breathtaking panorama of snow-capped peaks and deep valleys. The air was incredibly thin, making every movement an effort, but the sense of achievement was immense. I stood there, wrapped in layers of clothing, feeling the icy wind whip against my face, gazing at the roof of the world. It was a humbling experience, a reminder of the raw power and majesty of nature. Colorful prayer flags adorned every possible surface, their silent prayers carried away by the strong winds, adding a spiritual dimension to this incredible feat of endurance and engineering. Descending from Khardung La into Nubra Valley was like entering a different world. The landscape transformed dramatically from the barren, icy heights of the pass to a surprisingly verdant valley floor. The Shyok River snaked its way through the valley, its waters of vibrant turquoise against the backdrop of sandy dunes and rugged mountains. It was a startling contrast, a hidden oasis in the midst of the high-altitude desert. The air felt warmer, richer, and the sense of isolation gave way to a feeling of gentle welcome. This dramatic shift in scenery was a powerful reminder of Ladakh's diverse and often surprising beauty, a land of stark contrasts and hidden wonders waiting to be discovered. One of the most unique experiences in Nubra Valley was riding a Bactrian camel across the sand dunes of Hunder. These double-humped camels, remnants of the ancient Silk Road trade, ambled slowly across the surreal landscape, their gait gentle and rhythmic. The sight of sand dunes at such a high altitude, framed by snow-capped mountains, was truly extraordinary. It felt like being transported to a mythical land, a scene from an ancient tale. The gentle sway of the camel, the vast expanse of the valley, and the quietude of the desert created a moment of pure, unadulterated joy and wonder. It was a playful interlude, a reminder that even in the most remote and rugged places, moments of simple delight can be found. The journey to Pangong Tso was perhaps the most anticipated part of my Ladakhi adventure. The drive itself was an epic, unfolding through landscapes that seemed to change with every passing mile. Then the lake appeared, a vast expanse of shimmering blue, so intense and vivid it seemed almost unreal. The colors of Pangong Tso were ever-changing, shifting from an almost translucent turquoise near the shore to a deep sapphire blue further out, reflecting the sky and the surrounding mountains in a mesmerizing dance of light and shadow. It was a sight that truly took my breath away, a vision of pure, unadulterated natural beauty that felt almost sacred, like stumbling upon a hidden jewel of the earth. Standing by the shores of Pangong Lake, I was enveloped by a profound silence, broken only by the gentle lapping of water against the pebbles and the distant cry of a bird. The serenity was absolute, a deep, resonant peace that settled into my bones. It felt like being on the edge of the world, far removed from the noise and distractions of everyday life. The sheer scale of the lake and the towering barren mountains that cradled it created a sense of awe and humility. I spent hours just sitting by the water, watching the colors shift and change, feeling a deep connection to the raw, untamed spirit of this incredible place. It was a meditative experience, a moment of pure presence. Spending a night near Pangong Tso was an experience I will never forget. As dusk settled, the sky transformed into a canvas of deep indigos and purples, eventually giving way to a breathtaking display of stars. In the absence of city lights, the Milky Way blazed across the heavens with an intensity I had rarely witnessed. The silence of the night was profound, amplifying the sense of being in a truly remote and otherworldly place. Wrapped in warmth against the cold, I sat outside, gazing at the celestial show, feeling incredibly small yet profoundly connected to the universe. This night by the lake was a time for deep reflection, a moment of clarity and inner peace that felt transformative. Returning to Leh, I felt a subtle but significant shift within me. The world looked a little brighter and my heart felt a little lighter. Even a final stroll through the familiar grounds of Leh Palace, with its ancient walls looking down upon the town, felt different. The whispers of the Himalayas had indeed worked their magic. This journey had been more than just a holiday. It was a pilgrimage into the heart of silence, a deep dive into the raw beauty of nature, and an exploration of my own inner landscape. Ladakh had etched its majestic presence not just in my memory, but onto my soul, leaving behind a quiet strength and a lasting sense of peace. If you ever feel the mountains calling, I urge you to listen. Consider a journey with yatraaxiz. They can help guide you to your own transformative whispers in these sacred, awe-inspiring heights.